Welcome back to another exciting episode of Mr. Mod's Mod Showcase. I've got some awesome mods lined up for you guys, so let's get right into it. First up, we have The Last of Guns. This adds the guns from the game, The Last of Us, specifically Part 1. I like this mod quite a lot. It's very interesting. The guns work differently, so you don't have magazines anymore, so there's no clips. You just load individual bullets into them, which is kind of refreshing after reloading so many damn clips. It's nice to not deal with them anymore, but it does make them easier to use, so keep that in mind. One nice thing though is that you can, on the sandbox options, you can turn off vanilla guns. You can make it so it's just The Last of Us guns. You could basically, we're getting close to the point where you can make almost like a clone of The Last of Us just within Project Zomboid. And as you can see, these guns, they do quite a lot of damage. Like I would say, it's similar to Britta's, but even more overpowered. Just because it takes almost like no time to reload. As long as you have the bullets and they're not in a box or anything, it's really quick. It's almost like a standard video game reload speed, but in Project Zomboid, which is not really how it usually works. I gotta say though, even though they do make the game easier, I had a lot of fun with these guns from the mod. It's really just a good time. The best part though has to be the flamethrower. This thing is insane. You use propane canisters as fuel. It holds, I think, around 500 units. It's a lot. It's a big tank. Obviously, you could run it through pretty quickly, but if you're using it conservatively, which you don't need to use too much, as you can see, you're gonna make it last. This thing is just so much fun though to use. I spent probably like at least 45 minutes just running around, creating hordes, lighting them on fire. It's really fun. If you're just trying to mess around with some friends or just blow off some steam, this is a really fun one to go with. It's not probably the best to use for like a serious playthrough, unless you really nerf like the spawn rates of the loot, or you limit how much you can use it, something like that, but I still like it. I think it's really interesting to see, and it seems like they implemented this quite well. It does pretty much everything that I would have expected it to do, and it's just really fun to use. So if you like The Last of Us or flamethrowers, you should probably check this mod out, because it might just be for you. And next up, we have ExtraNoise's 1979 450 SL. This is a replica of the same car manufactured by Mercedes, and ExtraNoise, like usual, does a really good job of recreating this vehicle. It is perfect. Pretty clean looking, if you ask me. Mr. Mod sure seems to enjoy whipping around town in it. So it's not like this is really the most practical vehicle to be using. It says as much on the mod description, but it's pretty classy. And sometimes class just outweighs logic, people. You gotta go with the classy move sometimes. So the typical spawn locations that you'll be able to find in this car are gonna be in middle upper class areas. Sometimes, occasionally, you'll find them in like a parking lot, randomly, but typically it's gonna be more well-off areas of the map. This mod is really nice though, because like ExtraNoise, most of his mods, he really cares about making them accurate, especially period accurate, which I'm a big fan of that personally. I know a lot of other people are as well, and all 6 colors it comes in are all the original colors the car was offered in. I love that. Also, it does have an animated door, hood, and trunk, so pretty awesome. Make sure to check this one out. Alright, the next mod on our list is called Zombies Trip Zombies. This is a mod I had so much fun with during the filming for this video. It's really, it works well, but it's also really funny the way it looks. And it's great. It's simple. Zombies, they trip zombies. Pretty straightforward. The name says it all. But it surprised me how much it actually expanded the playstyle, because it's not just like zombies that fall over that'll be trippable objects, right? Like the bodies of zombies, if you don't clean them up, you can trip over them yourself. It's pretty awesome. It's also really funny watching like a whole line of them get stuck tripping over each other. I spawned them in the middle of a golf course here and like started kiting them down and pushing just a few over. It left like a whole mass, probably half of them roughly were stuck still near like the start, just because they couldn't stop tripping on each other. It was like a mass of snakes or something. And the last thing you want to do is be the newest member of the zombie mosh pit. Let me tell you, that's always going to be a bad decision. As fun as it looks, not very inviting. I would not recommend it. And up next, we have a real doozy here by Tchernobill, the Portal Gun. Yes, that's right, the Portal Gun from the game Portal. Yeah, it looks nice, really great sound effects, and it freaking works. I mean, it actually works. I was kind of surprised to even see this mod offered for this game, to be honest. I would not expect anyone in their right mind to say, you know what Project Zomboid needs is the gun from Portal. But man, am I glad that Tchernobyl thought that and decided to make this, because it's kind of a goofy item. There's definitely no serious playthrough that you're going to be using this in, at least none that I could even imagine. It's really more of just a mess around item, but you can have quite a lot of fun messing around with it, as I did here. What I really thought was surprising though is you can long range teleport with this thing. Like, as I show you here, long range teleportation. Look at that, across the map. Pretty damn cool. I mean, realistically, I guess you could make, like, if you're just the laziest player ever, or you really like portals and you don't like driving, you could just make portals between, like, I don't know, your base and then the city you loot at. But that's up to you, you know, play it how you like. Personally, I'm gonna use it just to mess around. And now, there is an option in Sandbox to let zombies be teleported as well. I couldn't really get that to work, not gonna lie. I tried, but I couldn't get it to work. I'm running a lot of mods though, and I didn't really have the time to sort through and figure out which was causing it to not work, so it looks like it works. People in the comments, they make it look like it works, so I would assume it does. Next up, we have Play Ball. This mod is great. You know, I never thought I wanted this in the game, but now that I have it, I don't want to give it up. The ability to, like, hit a baseball or a tennis ball is just too much freaking fun. Like, look at that. You can actually hit the zombies with it. And you can finally play baseball. I mean, this opens up, in my mind at least, so many opportunities for not just like wacky combat or, you know, fun mini games you can make up with friends, but like you can actually like expand upon this even more. Eventually, we're gonna have full Wii Sports arsenal in Project Zomboid. I'm calling it now. You heard it here. King Gecko bets. I also want to highlight the SecretZPandemic mod. This just came out. It's kind of a compilation pack of the Secret Z maps that have been coming out for the last little while. I've really liked these maps individually, and so when I saw this come out as an entire package, I knew I had to get it and it had to be on this list. Really, really nice. So what it does is it adds a bunch of different bunkers and then kind of military checkpoint, battlefield type, like think like World War Z type stuff, right? Like where you actually see evidence of there being a big military confrontation with the zombies, you know, a big effort at containing it. I think that's great. You actually get that with this mod, and it's really, really fun to explore and see what's new. I also wanted to show you the tennis feature on Play Ball because it's really, really fun as well. If only there was a way to like serve back, you know, then you could actually play tennis with another player, but until then we wait. But yeah, like this is basically the same features as the baseball. You use different commands, you can adjust the key bindings, but you're going to use different keys on the keyboard to move your trajectory up or down. You can also adjust whether the trajectory lines are shown or not. All of this stuff is actually quite adjustable in sandbox options, like the trajectory, which bats can be used. Like if you have a modded bat and you want it to register to be able to play ball with, you can add it on the sandbox options list so that it works. Really, really nice work. And it does damage to zombies. It does a little bit. You can edit it in the sandbox, but it actually does some damage. Like, I was able to kill zombies using the tennis racket and tennis balls, which has got to be the funniest way I've ever killed a zombie in this game. And if earlier in the video you might have noticed all of those baseballs around the golf hole here, this would be why. I decided to go try to play golf using Play Ball as best as I could currently. I thought the baseball would work best along with the baseball bat. Maybe tennis would be easier in retrospect because I never got the ball to go into the hole. I got it extremely close, many times. Way too many times to count. I actually ended up giving up whenever like too many balls were, the 3D objects were like crowding out. I couldn't even see the hole anymore. So I gave up. Mr. Mod was a failure there, so he tried his best, but it was not enough. Maybe you'll do better. If you manage to do it, let me know. I would love to see. And next up, we have an awesome map mod called the Louisville Riverboat. This boat is located right along that waterway along the top edge of Louisville. It's kind of in the middle part, roughly. It is an exact copy of the riverboat that the Indie Stone has been building in the kind of, I guess, development area of the map. Kind of out of bounds. There's nothing there currently, but this boat is. And so this mod creator brought the boat over here. Now we can use it as a base, as an area to explore, or just a place to lounge around and enjoy yourself. I mean, it's got 3 stories, so plenty of space. You could realistically make a pretty dope base out in this. If you wanted to, you could block off access so that zombies couldn't get in. It's got just the bridge to get to it. So other than that bridge, there's no connection to the land. So pretty safe relative for this area of Louisville. Probably actually like the safest area you're going to find in this part of Louisville. Just based on natural defense. And it looks really cool too. Like, I really like the columns. It looks like a riverboat to me. And it has that vibe to it as well. Also, this is an interesting fact. The Belle of Louisville is a real steamboat that is in Louisville. It's docked relatively in the same exact location. The mod author, when they copied the Indie Stone boat and moved it over, they tried to locate it basically as close to where the Belle of Louisville would dock as possible. So I think that's really awesome because, you know, if you were to go to Louisville and that the boat was docked there, it wasn't in operation, like, you would see it right there. That's pretty awesome. So this is something that I'm glad we have a mod for, because who doesn't want to just live the high life on a riverboat, right? I know Mr. Mod is in. And the next mod on the list is the M998 House Car. It is what it says it is, a house car. House on a car. And you can go inside of it thanks to RV interiors, which I'm a big fan of. If you've watched anything on my channel, you'll know I'm a big fan of that, so had to feature this. This is a nice little car. It's kind of like, to me, it looks like a mix between like a military Jeep with like a box car almost, like what you would see in like a U-Haul truck, which is kind of funny to see, but it works well in the apocalypse. Have a little box on the back you can live in. You can, I would assume you can plumb it just like every other RV interior vehicle. I've not tested it, but I don't see why it wouldn't, seeing as it's just using the standard RV interior rooms. You should be able to do everything you can inside of an RV interior room, which is quite a lot. And while we're inside of the house car, I'd like to go ahead and feature the next mod on the list, the Survivor Backpack, or the Based Backpack. This is a really, really nice looking backpack. In my opinion, it's probably one of my favorite just by design, as well as it's simple, you know, it doesn't really have any frills or bells or whistles. Like, it carries more than the standard large backpack. It looks better than the standard large backpack. You can craft it if you have the requisite skills and resources. All in all, 10 out of 10 bag. I like it. Next on the list is Wallpapers and more paint colors. This is a really, really cool mod. I'm a big nerd for any kind of like base design mods. I really like things that expand what you can do, like decoration or building to the base. So as soon as I saw this, I knew I had to check it out, and boy am I glad. This gives you the ability to add wallpaper to, as far as I'm aware, like every single wall in the game. For now, we have interior wallpaper, we have siding you can put on homes, and you can paint. So very, very nice. I am a big fan of this system because you have only like so many white walls in rooms before you start to go crazy a little bit and feel like you're in an insane asylum. Now you can actually paint the wall, put a wallpaper up, do whatever you want with it, really. I mean, the world is your oyster, as long as you got enough wallpaper glue. I think my favorite, though, of the wallpaper patterns has to be the tropical, like, leaf print. I want to, like, have, like, a full-looking Tommy Bahama lounge just in the back of my house car, so that's where I'm going with it. This next mod on the list blew me away whenever I first tried it. I was really, really surprised. It's computer games and command line interface. What this lets you do is actually like use a computer in the game. And I mean really use the computer. So a couple of the things that you can do currently with it, you can open up web pages and actually browse them through the Steam overlay. So like a workshop page or a other website, if you have the URL and you copy it and paste it in with open, the command open first, it'll open up the overlay to that, which I think is really, really cool. I didn't even expect to have a feature like that in the game ever, but here it is. you know. Really, really fun to mess around with. You can also play games on it. You can do tons of other things. It's really, really an interesting mod because I feel like you could expand on this quite a bit. This is opening up a whole new framework essentially for people to build on, which makes me quite excited. But another great feature though is you can play games. Like you can play Pong and you can play Asteroids, at least currently. I will warn you, the AI in the Pong game, it is very good. I don't know if he cheats or what, but he feels a little bit too good if you ask me. He's on some performance enhancers perhaps. I don't know. Or maybe Mr. Mod is on some performance dehancers. That might be the problem as well. But either way, I suck at Pong and probably should never play it again. I'm a bit better at Asteroids though. I'll say that much. And then finally, one of the best things about this computer mod, if you are on any multiplayer server, anything that lets you establish a safe house essentially. If you have a safe house and you have this desktop computer in there, you can actually like look up your inventory of all your loot and all the containers in your safe house, at least within that safe house location. It'll show up tabulated on the computer. Like you can search and find whatever you need item-wise, like see how many bullets you have left, see how many bandages, whatever. I mean, that's really nice. That's like another level of inventory management that like has never been possible in this game before, really. I feel like that would be really helpful too for like a larger server with lots of people playing. You all share a safe house. Now, I haven't tested the inventory management out myself, but I have seen a comments saying that it works just fine, so should be good to go. And the next mod on our list is Weather Moodles. This is a really, really awesome mod. If you've not seen this before, this will add extra Moodles to the Moodle bar on the side of your screen that are going to indicate the weather. So you'll have fog, rain, sunshine, and cloud cover. Pretty awesome. You'll also have wind if it is a windy day. So it's really, really nice to use. I feel like it complements the already available Moodles for like temperature. So it's great to have a little bit more of an idea what the weather looks like. You kind of already can tell if you really are familiar with the way like the environment looks in Zomboid, the different weather types, but it's still, I mean, that's hard. Even if you know what they look like, that's kind of a lot of work to do. So this just simplifies the whole process, tells you right away what kind of weather conditions you have. It's a really nice mod. I like it, and I recommend you check it out. Up next, we have two mods, Better Placement and the Psyduck Plushie. Psyduck Plushie just because it looks really nice. I like it. Who doesn't like a nice Pokemon plush, am I right? Better Placement because this mod is amazing. You can customize the placement location for any item so much easier with this. If you use the Z key and then Shift Z, you can adjust the height. You can basically position things wherever you want. As you can see here, like you can stack items pretty easily. At some point though, it does get a little hard. There's some clipping between the items. So at a certain height, you can't really stack too much higher, but it still looks quite nice. I like it. It's a pretty good mod. Up next is another awesome map mod. This time, a Rosewood edition. This is the Rosewood Mall. This is something that Rosewood has always needed, in my opinion. It's not, I mean, like, it's a tiny little town, right? Like, you don't have a lot to do once you've been there for maybe a month. With this mall, I mean, this place is huge. It's not as big as any of the other malls in-game necessarily, but it's quite large just on its own. And there's so many stores in here. This really adds to the loot table available in Rosewood. It's another big, high population area besides the prison next to Rosewood to go explore. It'd be perfect for a group with friends, or if you're just trying to do like a solo clear, you could easily do it. It would take some time though. Either way, it's a great place. I recommend checking this mod out. There's no map added yet for it, but it's pretty straightforward of a layout. It's kind of like a big H. And I'm all for mods that add extra malls to Project Zomboid, so this automatically gets a thumbs up from me. Up next, we have a double package. This is the RPG7 mod and the RC Explosives mod. You kind of have to play with them both because RC Explosives is like the framework for these explosive effects, and we'll get into that in a minute, but first I want to show you the RPG, because this has been my favorite way so far to use the explosions in RC Explosives. It fires an invisible grenade, essentially, in that direction. It has its own targeting system, which I found it worked out quite nicely. I really like the arrow. It helped me easily see it, because whenever you're running around and fighting zombies, it doesn't it doesn't always stand out the most, just a little green square. So the arrow helped me. And I gotta say, one of the coolest things is the destructive capabilities of this mod. It's just so cool to be able to shoot at a building and have it be destroyed. I mean, I didn't really think that I was going to be seeing something like that. This is something I expect from Battlefield, not Project Zomboid, so this is crazy to have this. And like I mentioned before, all of this fun stuff under the hood with the RPG comes from RC Explosives submod, which has its own explosions as well, as you can see here. It causes chain explosions, so vehicles will chain explode. Yeah, a packed parking lot is now the perfect place to take zombies to if you've got at least one RPG. Good thing I have, like, infinite, so Mr. Mod is going to have some fun in this parking lot. And you can just see here, the chain effect looks really good. My computer is not the best. In fact, it's pretty bad. So the fact that my game didn't crash and that I had, I guess, mediocre to decent FPS, that's a win in my book. If you have even a decent PC, you probably would be able to use this just fine. And it's just so fun. Like, chain explosions in Project Zomboid. It's it's crazy. If you put the rarity for this item to super rare, then that'll be a really good choice in my opinion, because overpowered. And then one last demonstration, just because I wanted to put my PC to the test, and I legitimately thought it was gonna crash, because it starts to like freeze for a minute, but it pulled through. It always does. And we get to see this. So I can only imagine this would look so much better on a good computer. Just total carnage. This mod is awesome. 10 out of 10. Not balanced at all, but very fun. And that brings us to the final mod of this video, Trip and Fall. This is a really nice mod. It makes it so that your character has a chance to trip over zombie bodies that are on the ground. I feel like this is great, especially because it balances out Zombies Trip Zombies mod that was talked about earlier in the video. So really nice to play with these together, and really fun too. It makes it a little bit more fair also, and realistic, so I like it. I want to thank you guys for making it this far. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really had a great time making it. Make sure to leave a comment below. What was your favorite mod? What mod do you want to see next? Any other thoughts, opinions? I would love to see them, you know? And if you leave a mod that you suggest, I might just put it in the next video. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. Take it easy, everybody. Gecko out.